Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and tonight we are live on Live as Can Be every Thursday night for the Wrestling Experience. Every time I do this show always makes my heart grow fonder when I do this show and I bring you all kind of juicy hot topics and stories and guests. The Wrestling Experience is about to turn 3 years old, and I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to tell you this much. This show has evolved into a lot of things. And I had a great co-pilot in Sarah. I had a great guest over the years. Tonight we're going to bring on another guest of the wrestling experience. And you know something, folks, it just goes to show you that the beat just goes on with this show. And the beat does go on. And I love this show and I love my audience and I love what I do and everything else in between. So tonight you've landed on that mothership once again on Planet Experience. Tonight we're going to have rewind the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about that. We have wrestling news. We're going to talk about that. We have so much to talk about, so much to do. We're also going to talk about Raw and the Netflix glitches that happened this past Monday night. I want to know what you all think of that. But also, we also have other things too. So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to tonight. All the wrestling experience. Welcome aboard this mothership. Welcome aboard to Planet Experience. It's Thursday, and that means only one thing. It's time to get in this ring, and it's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience. All right. And welcome back to the wrestling experience. Thank you all so much for watching tonight. My guest should be here very shortly, very momentarily. We hope that I'll have him on the telecast. But let's just first talk about, well, last night we had Dynamite. First of all, let's talk about Dynamite for a second. Last night, AEW presented Dynamite. The matches were great. The matches were fine. We're getting ready for Revolution. We're getting ready for the Grand Slam Australia, which is going to happen next weekend for AEW. An event that was very sloppy done by AEW as far as ticket sales is concerned, and as far as build is concerned for this Grand Slam. Very sloppily done by Tony Khan and company. Very shocked about that. I would have think that if Tony Khan was coming to Australia for the first time ever, he would have put a little bit more effort and foot into it, but that's not what he did. That's not what he did. And unfortunately, things went to seed. And the tickets, went by the wayside of a large stadium, and they had to move it indoors to a smaller venue. So this Grand Slam is going to be something interesting to say none the least. What are we going to get out of it? I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is last night, Dynamite, it was okay, it was decent for what it was. Am I going to jump up and down? Do I want to see it again? No. But it was all right for what it was. But the main event was off the hook. Off the hook. Swerve Strickland took on Ricochet in a war. It was a war. The match was fine. The match was okay. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everybody played their part well in the match. I thought it was great. But again, like I said before, I'll say it again. Um, Building up towards this Grand Slam, the build to this Grand Slam has not been great. The ticket sales were not that great. Again, like I said, what are we going to get out of this? What's going to happen here? That's what I want to know. Well, inquiring minds want to know, and that's something that we're going to find out next Saturday night on TNT. So, um, so we're waiting for our guest to come in. But until he comes in, I just again, like I said, Dynamite last night was great. The main event was fine for what it was. Um, do I like I said, do I want to see Dynamite again? No. But this we're building up to the Grand Slam. We're building up to the Grand Slam next Saturday night, and like I said before, I'll say it again. The build for this has not been great. The venue had to been switched around. Tony Khan obviously didn't do his homework and he didn't do his due diligence to push this event forward. So when it comes on TNT next Saturday night, it'll be on a 21-hour tape delay. It will be after the NBA All Stars, and I'm not sure when that's going to air. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but you're going to have to tune into TNT and see what happens, see what time this show will air. Um, I'm going to take a look at it. Take a look at it and see what happens. Now, this Tuesday night, Dynamite will be seen on Tuesday, not on Wednesday. It won't be seen on Wednesday. It'll be seen on Tuesday night. So Dynamite will be moved over to Tuesday night, which means that they will be going head to head with NXT. That should be interesting too. Let's see what happens with that as well. It is the go home show. It's the go home show for AEW Dynamite. Now I'm gonna be on the air with Dynamite at 7:50 this Tuesday night for Dynamite because, like I said, Dynamite will be seen on a Tuesday night, not a Wednesday night. It's another Tuesday night delight from AEW. So that's what we're going to do on Tuesday night instead of Wednesday night. So Dynamite will be seen on Wednesday night. Um, it will be seen on Tuesday, not Wednesday. Um, so so we got that going on. What else is happening? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Netflix. What happened with Netflix? this past Monday night on Raw, a lot of people are talking about the technical problems Netflix had in WWE in Cleveland this past Tuesday, Monday night. There was a lot of technical glitches wrong with the Netflix. I don't know what happened. I don't know if anybody saw this on Twitter or not, or brought it to WWE's attention. But this wasn't good. I mean, for the last 2 weeks we were tech free, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden we get to Cleveland and it was some glitchy, witchy, botchy, watchy going on, especially in the main event. Mongeese, Mergeese, how's it going, Mergeese? How's it going, my friend? Make sure that everybody you smash the like button. You smash that like button. You smash that like button here on the Wrestling Experience. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors that the Wrestling Experience is on the air, and you can join us anytime, any place, anywhere. It would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and of course, hit that like button. Do those two things, and I greatly appreciate it. So, yes, hello, monkeys. How are you? How are you? Love the emojis. Keep them coming. You can also join my online community as well. Um so so I don't know if you all saw this or not with Raw, but I had no idea. I had no idea that this was going on. I mean, we were doing fine with this Netflix, and then all of a sudden it just started to glitch all over the place. There was a lot of glitching, especially with the main event. I was getting frustrated at one point. I said, I'm glad that the show's finished because it kept glitching and kept going, twitching, and all of this stuff was going on. So I hope that this Monday night, when we do Raw again on Netflix, that this issue will be resolved. Because that was just absolutely ridiculous with the WWE. And I'm sure a lot of people must have saw that on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you watched Raw. I mean, I was watching it on my tablet and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe how much it was glitching out and it was popping back in and glitching out and popping back in. So it was annoying. It was annoying. Um, it wasn't good for WWE to do that. All right. So my guest will be here in 5 minutes. My guest will be here in 5 minutes. And until then, I'm going to keep talking about Raw. So, and by the way, I was supposed to have Hologram here tonight, but he won't be available. But we wish him well. We hope that Hologram will be, we hope that he's be doing well tonight. Sorry to hear about your fender bender. Oh, Hologram. Sorry about that. Hope you get better. Um, so getting back to Raw. The show was good for what it was. It was good. It was good in Cleveland. It was great. I had a good time watching it until the glitch happened. But other than that, I gave it a B minus because of the glitches. I had to deduct some points off of WWE because of the glitch. But yeah. So that was my take on it. I was like I said, I was calling matches, and we were looking at Raw on the monitor, and I was just like, I was just like frustrated at one point with the technical problems. But that's what happened on Raw on Monday night. Getting back to Dynamite, as I said, the show was okay for what it was. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, and they did it in a small venue, which was a good thing for AEW. And my guest is here. Let's add him to the screen. Bobby Mike is here.
So, how
Hello.
you doing?
Good. How are you, Mike? How's it going tonight? Welcome to your debut on the wrestling experience.
How's it going, guys? Welcome. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you, Mike. And again, welcome aboard. And I was in the middle of talking about Monday Night Raw. Um, Mike, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you saw it or not on Netflix, but the technical problems was absolutely wild.
Are you talking about the in the main event? I you kind of cut out a little bit. I didn't quite hear what you said, but you talking about in the main event whenever Kevin Owens went to attack Sammy and it started glitching really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
See, and I kind of figured something like that was going to happen eventually after trying to watch that Tyson Jake Paul fight or whatever. I knew that eventually trying to do live broadcasting would have some type of interruption. I just don't think that they were quite prepared for the amount of people that were going to be streaming that. As far as like server capacity and stuff. So
Yeah, I was just frustrated because I was doing my show. I'm calling the matches and I'm doing my thing and then all of a sudden I had to stop and like, oh man, come on. It's like can we just have a decent Raw without these technical problems, all this glitchy witchy and botchy watchy stuff?
100%,
Just
100%. Man, I'll be honest with you. I actually haven't sat down and watched wrestling since I'd say the last time I actually sat down and watched the full show was WrestleMania during COVID. So whenever they did WrestleMania at the Performance Center, that was the last time I watched it. So I haven't really watched it in a good 4 or 5 years. But uh,
oh wow.
yeah, I sat down and I watched the Royal Rumble. I enjoyed it, and then Raw was pretty enjoyable. So I mean, it's definitely getting my attention. But just as good as I do. Back the last probably decade of WWE has been garbage.
Well, yeah, look who ran it.
Yep.
And we're gonna talk about him tonight. We are in the wrestling news. I want to get your thoughts on it, but we're gonna talk about that in a little while.
What did
Um,
information out
mm,
about old Vinny about old Durag Vince?
yeah. This thing is really something else.
Is it
Um,
that news that broke earlier this week about the Brock Lesnar thing?
yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about it.
I just
Oh,
wanted
I'm
to
gonna
make
talk
sure.
about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page that I knew what.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. We're gonna talk about that. Oh yes. We got a lot to talk about tonight here on this show. Um. All right. All right. So before we talk about the Royal Rumble, all right, I want to talk about your career in wrestling. So how did you become a wrestler? What was your journey like?
Okay. All right, man. Well, my journey started, just like everybody else's. You grow up watching as a kid, and you just become enamored with it, and it becomes your favorite thing in the world. Like it was my favorite thing in the world, probably still is. I mean, I started watching again, so definitely it's always there when you need it. But just watching as a kid, seeing how they do certain things and then picking up that it's choreographed, and then thinking to yourself, well, if people say it's fake, how do they do this, how do they do that? And then I actually started my career when I was 15, 16 years old. I started training here in East Texas. I was trained by a gentleman named Cody Knight. Really good dude, man. Unfortunately, late last year, last October, he passed away. Um,
Oh, sorry to hear that.
that man definitely got my foot in the door and got me to where I'm able to live my dream. I've done a lot of cool things that I probably would never been able to do without that man. So I definitely give him his props. R.I.P. Cody Knight, man. R.I.P. brother.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're in the independent circuit. Okay. Now, when you are an independent wrestler, what are you? Are you a baby face? Are you a heel? What
Yes, sir.
what what did you?
I'm a baby face man. The Maui Mike thing is I'm the quarter ton of tropical fun. I come out there. I'm like the Hawaiian tourist who never wanted to leave the island, so I brought it back with me to
Love
thrive,
it.
vibe, and have a good time and turn frowns upside down, man. Because that's what life's about. Life can kick you down all at once, but as long as you're able to, get back up and kick it back a little bit, you're doing the right thing, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, wrestling is an escape. It is an escape from the real world that we live in, and the rat race world that we live in today. It is. I'm glad that you talked about that, about being fake and all that. Ask JD McDonough. Ask JD McDonough, ask anybody in the WWE who take those hellacious bumps and they have to go into look what happened to Apollo Crews. He has to be put on the shelf because he tore his pectoral muscle and
Look
he
at
has to go surgery.
Big E. Look at
Yeah,
besides Big E, like unfortunately, Draws is not with us anymore. R.I.P. Draws. But if
right,
it was, I'd say
right.
go how fake it is. That man spent the rest of his life in a motorized
Oh,
wheelchair because he was paralyzed from the neck down because of a move gone wrong. Like anything can happen in that ring.
right, exactly.
And the fact that certain people just want to discredit it and say, "Oh, it's fake. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that." I was like, "Yeah, but you motherfucker, you probably love Batman. Batman's fake."
Right.
I don't know. By the way, I don't know if it's on here or not.
What was that, Mike?
I said I don't know if I'm allowed to use foul language on here or not. So I apologize.
No, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I am partially monetized, so it's okay
Oh, okay. No.
to. Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What is the worst and best things about being an independent wrestler?
The best thing is I'm gonna start with the best thing first. The best thing is the traveling, meeting new people, working in front of different crowds, just honing your craft, learning from different people how to do stuff, learning from different people how to do certain things. Because at the end of the day, wrestling, you're always learning. If you come into this thinking that you know everything after you've been trained, you're not going to get very far. I mean, even greats like Ric Flair don't know everything, and he'll tell you that. Once you feel like you've learned everything and you can't learn anymore, then it's time to retire, brother, because that you're always constantly learning. The business is always constantly evolving. There's always different opportunities for people to take depending on where they're at. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just like, you're at the end of the day, if you're an independent wrestler, you're pretty much your own manager, so you have to just chase opportunities. One of the worst parts is dealing with certain promoters, man. Sometimes promoters will stiff you on pay. Sometimes you'll get there and just things will be just god awful. Sometimes the equipment, like the ring, will be in shambles. Like the boards will be broken, ropes will be messed up, and it's just an like it's just really a buffet for disaster at that point. Because if you don't have good equipment and a good ring and good solid, boards and stuff, anybody could get hurt by taking bumps. And that's like the worst part about it is sometimes you do have cheap promoters that skimp when it comes to the safety of their performers. And that's probably the worst part.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think safety is paramount when you are doing those things, because you are going to the next city, you are going to the next town, and you are going to the next country, and you are performing in front of a crowd, and they expect you to come through that curtain. Let me ask you a question. When you come through the curtain, and you're about to go into a match, what's going through your mind when you're going through the curtain? What are you trying to do? Like, what are you trying to prepare yourself for? Like, how do you do that?
So I've been wrestling now for 15 years. And I've only had one or two matches in the past year and a half because I actually just recovered from a broken neck and broken back. I
Oh,
was
I'm
actually
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was actually almost killed September of 2023 by a drunk driver. I had 7 compression fractures of the spinal cord. I had the left side of my neck broken here, and then I also had my right eyelid completely ripped off because my face went through the windshield and ripped my whole right eyelid off and cut me all the way from all the way back.
Wow, jeez.
But
So sorry to hear that.
I can say is the most right now. Like I'm actually gearing up to have a match on February 15th. It's going to be where I started. It's going to be in front of my home crowd, and I am just thrilled. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I haven't felt nervous for a while, so that's a good thing. It means that I truly care about my profession. And the main thing that's going on in my head when I get in there, because like we all know what this is, I don't call anything in the back. The only thing I call in the back is where we're how we're starting and how we're ending. Everything else I call in the ring, and that just makes it easier on me. That gives me time to be able to fill out the crowd, read the crowd, what the crowd wants, what the crowd doesn't want. And my main goal when I step through that curtain is to put smiles on people's faces and, just get them out of whatever bullcrap they're going through in the real world, because that's what wrestling is. We're there to entertain. We're there to help you, get away from the bad stuff in life. Like it's just an escape from reality. And I believe that full heartedly because it's been an escape from reality for me for years.
Well, yeah, I mean, Daniel Raider Sports, how's it going tonight? I, like I said before, I'll say it again. Fans make wrestling, and I love wrestling. As long as you got an aisle and you got ropes and you got a ring, you have me as a fan. I grew up on wrestling. My mother grew me up on it, and I've been a fan ever since. Um, but that I wish you the best of luck in your match. I really do. I think that's going to be great. I think that you're going to shine, and you're gonna go places. Let me ask you another question. When you were trained and you went through the independent circuit and everything like that, did you ever put together like what do they call an audition tape and send it to like other promotions like AEW or WWE? Have you ever done that?
So I actually did get ballsy one time and try to shoot for TNA, man. Funny story about that. So it was like, let's see. So I actually started my career in 2009, 2010. I had my first professional match in 2010. So I'd say this was about like 2012, 2013 or so. I I reached out to TNA and sent them some stuff, and I had a try, and they were in Dallas for a show, and they were holding like tryout camps or whatever, a couple of days before the show. And unfortunately, before I could even make it there, I got injured pretty bad and couldn't make it. And since then, I haven't tried to pursue any bigger shows. But here's the thing, brother. The thing about it is that I just recovered from a career-ending injury that probably would have took any normal person out. But the thing is, I'm not normal. I'm a strong-willed guy, and I love, eat, sleep, and breathe what I do in that ring. It is my passion. It is what I truly love to do the most. And this time around, after I figure out, what my body can and can't do, because I'm having to learn how to redo a lot of things, with to combat what I can do and what I can't do with the way my body is now due to the injuries. I have to work around them. So once I'm able to clear up what I can do, what I can't do, get a few shows under my belt, see what works, see what doesn't work, I do plan on reaching out and trying to at least get the attention of New Japan or something like that, because at the end of the day, this is a business and we do need to make money so we can, take care of ourselves, because my end goal is to be able to pay my bills being a professional wrestler. And as well as I do, on the independent circuit, unless you're a huge name, it's hard to do that. Unless you're a marketable character, it's hard to do that. So that's another reason why I came up with this whole Maui Mike thing, because it's marketable. And I can definitely see some type of there's definitely some type of like what's the word I'm looking for here,
Money to be gained.
What'd you say? Not money to be gained. There's potential. That's the word. Potential. There's
Oh, the
definitely
potential. Yes, yes, potential. Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I would wholeheartedly agree with that assessment. It'd be good. I would love to see you one day debut in AEW, and you did a mixed tag match with Willow Nightingale. I think you and Willow Nightingale would be fantastic together. I think the two of you would have the most funnest time in the ring because she likes to have fun. I'm a fan of Willow Nightingale. Now I don't know if anybody out there is a fan of hers, but I'm a fan of Willow Nightingale. I love her energy. And I love how she is just so infectious when she comes through the curtain, especially the little girls. They just absolutely love Willow Nightingale. Um, yeah, so I would like to see that. I would love to tune into Dynamite or something and see you do that. I think that would make my heart grow fonder.
and and like I said, anything is possible, man.
Right.
It's probably gonna take me another like 2 or 3 years to get back in shape and to get exactly where I want to be, physically and mentally, man. Because I'll tell you, man, this was the hardest thing. Recovery. This was the hardest thing I've
I
ever.
understand.
You know, there was moments of depression. I mean, I ate like
Mm,
so before the injury happened. Let me just tell you this: before the injury happened, I was on a weight loss journey. I started my journey at 515 pounds, and I got down to 280.
wow.
And I was literally the night that I got into that wreck. I went to a show and I cut a promo for. I'm gonna go ahead and shout him out. Empire Professional Wrestling in Oklahoma City. Levi, I love you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I see you're drawing good. That's fucking good. That's awesome. Keep up the good work, guys. But I had just left Empire Professional Wrestling and cut a promo saying that I was going to be making my return the next month that they were doing the show. And
Mm,
literally 10 minutes after I pulled out of the parking lot, my life was changed forever. I mean, granted, I did come back from it a little bit, but there's still things that are not the same as they used to be before that accident. And, just perseverance is definitely key here, you know. And the fact that every doctor I went to, like 4 or 5 doctors, told me that I would never wrestle again. And that just made me discouraged. And I gained about 100 pounds that I lost. So I'm sitting at like, 385 right now. Um, but the thing about it is that I just miraculously healed, man. I didn't give up on myself. I did exactly what they wanted me to do. I kept the brace on, kept the neck brace on, the back brace on. I walked with a cane, and then basically around mid summer last year is when I started to notice that I could walk a little bit better without the cane. And then once I figured out I could walk a little bit better without the cane, I decided, oh well, maybe I should start doing some exercises to see if I can, get a little bit of mobility back. So then I started doing mobility exercises, and then it was just off to the races from there, man. Got back into the gym in August of last year. I've been going religiously 5 days a week. I've got
that's
a
good.
workout plan. I've got a really good meal plan going on right now. Like I said, this business is it's all aesthetic, man. So the better I look, hopefully the better opportunities I get. My heart is in this more than it has ever been in its life. And I mean, I hate to bring up the whole what I'm about to bring up, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is my belief on it. This whole excuse me, this whole life changing thing that's happened has made me religious to a certain extent. I can say that I never was a follower of Christ or anything, but I can tell you since that wreck has happened, me and him have been having a few conversations, and I'm definitely starting to realize
Well,
his.
yeah.
And
Yeah, God.
here's my main here's my main thing, and then I'll shut up for a minute and let you talk.
Yeah, that's okay. No, go ahead, my friend. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Past, I have had issues, with my mental health as far as depression, anxiety, not feeling like I was up to par, not feeling like I was good enough to do this. But the thing about it is God works in mysterious ways. We all know
Oh
that.
yes.
But maybe God was trying to say, hey, You need to change your mindset. You need to actually show these people that you're capable of doing this. You need to believe you're capable of doing this. But just like that, take it from you and you'll never be able to do it again. He almost took it from me, but through the power of, Christ, and, just religion and just believing in myself and believing that I can do it, I persevered. I got back on my feet, and here I am. I'm ready to get back in the ring. I'm ready to get back on the road, and I'm ready to thrive in five. I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, well, something. I'm glad that you went through. I'm glad that you pulled through. And the thing is that, yeah, God does work in mysterious ways, and He's always watching over all of us. And it's divine intervention while you're still here. And I'm glad that you're here, and you are so far been a great guest for me. And I love hearing your story. I love hearing your journey and everything else. And it's good that you're here, and it's good that you can entertain the audience, and it's good that you can go through that curtain and put the smiles on everyone's faces, because that's what you like to do, and that's what you're here for. And yeah, I'm all here for it, and I'm going to be your biggest supporter. Trust me and believe me.
The first
So,
I had back was in December. I wrestled in Bonham, Texas, which is
mhm.
it's pretty close to the Oklahoma border on the but anyway, I wrestled there, and man, I got to tell you, bro, the moment I laced up those boots, it was a surreal moment. It was it was definitely, never thought it would happen again. It was emotional, you know.
Well,
Then after my match, I performed so well. Like, I mean, you're talking to someone who literally broke his back, and I'm out there doing cannonballs, bro, cannonballs.
oh, shoot.
And it's because I felt good enough to do it. I wasn't in any pain, and I was like, I got to see if I can still do this. I got to do it for myself. If it looks bad, so what? I don't care, But lo and behold, it looks good. It looked good. Everything came out good. Nobody got hurt. The match went on without any problems, and we went out there and we entertained the people. That's all that matters.
Well, exactly, exactly. When I see guys like that, do that, like Ivar, of the Viking experience, when he does that, it makes my heart grow fond. I'm like, look, you all keep saying that big people can't perform in the ring. That's not true. That's not true. They can perform in the ring. It's just that there are some people that don't want to put in that extra work. They don't want to do that extra, that what it takes to do the performance in the ring.
Then they don't really want it. If they're not willing to put in the extra work and do what it takes, and they don't really want it. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was that person for a number of years during my 15-year career, because it was off and on with me, because I was struggling with my mental health for a little while. But
Right.
like I said, like this time it's going to be different. I'm ready to show these people that you can't you can't bring me down and you can't kill me. Like, I'm ready. Like that,
Well,
like back, like, you remember the storyline, and I think it was like, what is it, 06, 07, whenever or 05, whenever Edge and Lita hooked up beyond Matt Hardy's back, and they did that whole storyline and put reality into the story and everything. And he did that "you can't kill Matt Hardy" thing. That's the type of mentality I have, because you can't kill Maui Mike. Maui Mike is here and he's ready to go.
right, exactly. And yeah. Speaking of promos, last night, Dustin Rhodes. Let me tell you something. Something. I love promos, and when a promo is done right, it makes my heart grow fonder. Last night, Dustin Rhodes came out and told MJF something that I would never expected to come out of his mouth. I mean, he talked about himself being sober. He talked about his age. He talked about what he's been through, all the bumps and hellacious stuff that he's been through. And he really told MJF something last night on Dynamite. I Absolutely love that promo. It was very straight up, straight across the board. No BS, no nothing. He showed MJF something last night. I love that promo. That was a great promo. I
I'm
had
happy.
to bring that up.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, you have to see that promo. It was gold. It was absolutely gold.
And that's like
Um,
that you say gold, no pun intended, but gold, gold dust.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, everyone. All right. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. And it happened Saturday night, February the 1st in Indianapolis, Indiana. 30 men, 30 women vying to be the number one contender for the WWE champion of their choosing at WrestleMania 41. And of course, it is the most expensive WrestleMania in history, to say none the least, when it comes to tickets. But anyway, it's still going on and it's still available right now at Ticketmaster.com if you want to go to WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. Um, so let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this. The 2 out of 3 falls match. It was for the WWE Tag Team Champion. It was Motor City Machine Gun taking on DIY. The first fall was fine. I had no issues with the first fall. All right. DIY took it in the first fall. They took it in the first fall. All right. Well, Motor City Machine Guns were behind the 8 ball, and they tied up the fall. They tied up the fall. Like I said, the match was fine. The match was going fine until the Street Profits showed up. Mike, what did you make of the match itself?
I enjoyed the match, man. I've been watching the Motor City Machine Guns since I was a teenager, man. I mean, they started in TNA, I believe, is when they got, whenever they started getting a little bit of steam in TNA. And just from the outside looking in, I mean, regardless of how the match went or regardless of how it was booked, I was just so thrilled that they were able to wrestle in front of almost 70,000 people because they deserve that. They have been grinding and working their asses off for years and they're finally getting their break and I'm here for it. That's the biggest thing that I got out of that match. Now, as far as the storyline is concerned and everything, as far as them getting, cheated out of the titles, maybe they're setting up for a three-way tornado tag match at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. Maybe that's where that's going. I can't really tell you if that's where it's going or not, but just looking at it from the outside in, it seems like that would be something they would probably do.
Yeah, something. I wouldn't sneeze at that. I wouldn't even overglass that booking. That's brilliant by you, by the way. I don't have an issue with that. I think that that's something that they could play with here at WrestleMania. Why not? I
Yeah,
wouldn't. I wouldn't mind it.
and not only that, it not only does it sound good on paper, it actually gives more of the roster an opportunity to be able to perform at WrestleMania in front of the crowd, because now instead of just having just a regular tag team match, you have 3 tag teams, so that gets 2 more people from the roster who may not have had an opportunity to perform at WrestleMania to be able to perform at WrestleMania. And that was my takeaway from it. I mean, at the end of the day, wrestling is drama, and if there's not any drama, it's not going to keep people involved, and it's not going to keep people watching. So, in order to keep keep people engaged, sometimes WWE has to do things like that to keep people engaged and to keep people wanting more. And that's the art of professional wrestling.
I agree with that. I agree with that assessment wholeheartedly. Okay, now here at the Wrestling Experience, Mike, I have a thing called the entertainment level, and it's on a scale of 1 to 10. How well did you like the match? How well were you entertained by the match? But we do it by numbers. So, on an entertainment level, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this match?
Man, I did just for the technicality and just for all four of those guys are phenomenal workers. I mean, you have somebody like in there like Tommaso Ciampa who's had injury after injury, but he always seems to come back. And not only does he come back from them, he comes back better than when he left. You have Johnny Gargano is the same way. He's been grinding and busting this out for a number of years, and just all four of them, they put on a great match. There was good psychology, and there was definitely it was smooth. There was a few hiccups here and there, but whenever you're doing high fly moves and you're going 90-0 with somebody like Alex Shelley, that's bound to happen. But the match by itself was a solid like 7 or 8 in my opinion. I really enjoyed tag team wrestling. I thought that was a really good showcase of tag team wrestling. And if they keep doing that, then eventually we'll start having a decent tag team division again in the WWE. I'm pretty sure you were watching whenever Triple H was running NXT back when that was a thing, and how he was building up tag team after tag team, and WWE had a great tag team division, right? And then he who must not be named comes over there and just pisses all over everything and ruins everything because he's the owner. Like that's what the last 10 years of WWE to me was. If Vince didn't like it, it didn't happen. And quite frankly, like it don't matter what Vince likes, it matters what the fans like. That's why viewership was at an all-time low when he was still around. Granted, it had spikes going up and spikes going down, but regardless of the spikes up and the spikes down, it was a steady decline of fans because it was the same old shit time after time, day after day. Oh, well, we're gonna push Brock Lesnar. Oh, Charlotte Flair. Like that
Right,
Vince,
right, right.
that was my Vince impersonation.
I love it.
It's gonna be such good shit.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that old thing in a few minutes. Yeah, so the match for me, the match was fine for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. The Street Profits coming in, like Mike says, that's probably something that they're going to build upon going towards WrestleMania because we do have the Elimination Chamber coming up very soon on March 1st. And yeah, so that's something that we're gonna watch with a very close eye on that. But as far as an entertainment level goes, I'm gonna give this match a 7.5. The match gets a 7.5. Match gets a 7.5. It was good. I love a 2 out of 3 falls match. So if it's booked correctly, then I like it. You have me if it's booked correctly.
You know what I thought
So
of?
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So, what do you feel like? I feel like if they booked this match right at WrestleMania, if they were to go the triple threat tag team match way, if they were to go with that, if they were to make it a tables, ladders, and chairs triple threat tag team match, I think it could steal the show.
Yeah, I mean, again, like your booking is brilliant. I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it. I don't. Um, yeah. Now let me ask you something. If they would book that match, would you want to see it on night number one, or would you want to see it at night number two?
Uh, well, I'm not sure, man, because at the end of it, I feel like night number one is going to be overshadowed by Jay Uso winning the heavyweight championship because if he's not going to win, he wouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. He's lost to Gunther twice already, 3 times. This is just
Uh,
this is long storytelling booking at its finest. It's really and it's done nothing but get the people behind Jey Uso even more. So
yeah, we're gonna talk about the men's Royal Rumble in a moment.
I
Yeah, but I agree. I agree with your assessment.
but
Um,
I think night one. match one right out the gate, start on a high point to get the fans popping and dropping. Man, I think a triple threat TLC match for the tag team champions or tag team championship would be a damn good opener for night one. Not even pre-show or anything, just right out the gate. Welcome to WrestleMania. Boom, start with that match. I think it would be a good match to get those fans ready and anticipating for what's next.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
So I so
100%.
me, that's probably where I would put it because, and this is no disrespect to any of those gentlemen in that match. This is just me saying that first match is just as important as that last match because that first match sets the exact tone of what the rest of the show is going to be. So if you start WrestleMania night one with a TLC match for the tag team championships, the whole show is probably going to be lit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, yeah, so I'm going to give the match a 7.5. The match gets a 7.5. It was a good tag team match. It was a good, good stuff for the Royal Rumble. All right, let's talk about this match. This match was a classic. This match was a classic with a capital C. This match was woolly, wild, and all over the place, and I loved it. It was the ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship. It was Kevin Owens taking on Cody Rhodes. The match was fantastic.
Was
Now I love the ending part. When he gave him the Alabama Slammer on the steel ladder, I was cringing from ear to ear. I said, "Oh my God, Kevin Owens asked for a different Cody Rhodes, and he got it.
yeah.
Um, and he will never forget it."
You know
Mike,
what?
what did you think of the match?
I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved the drama. I loved the suspense. I loved the suspense. I loved how you didn't honestly know going into this like that Kevin Owens was actually going to lose. Like I thought that they could go either way with it. A lot of people thought I was wrong, and they were like, "Well, Cody's going to win because it's so close to WrestleMania." That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit that we're so close to WrestleMania. I enjoyed it. There was one part of the match where I grabbed my lower back and I just felt for Kevin Owens. I can't remember the exact move, but there was a move where Owens was running at Cody, and I think I can't remember correctly, but I want to say it was a back body drop where he gave Owens the back body drop in the small of his back where his tailbone landed. I went so bad, I was like, "Oh my god, I know that hurt. I know that hurt."
Oh my God, it was like static electricity. It was hellacious. The bumps that these men took, and this now Cody Rhodes now, from what I understand, he has some multiple injuries. We'll find out what's going to happen with him tomorrow night on SmackDown. But um, I, I mean, I was just like Kevin Owens was just destroyed in the match. But what he did to Sami Zayn this past Monday night on Raw, that is going to lead up to their match at WrestleMania. I smell it a mile away. I smell it a mile away. And you know that's where they're going to build up to this. You know that's what's going to happen here. Zayn had a horrible week. He lost the Royal Rumble. He's been losing matches all over the place. And Kevin Owens just put that powder keg on the cake when he gave him that package power driver that's been outlawed in the WWE.
Oh,
But
thing of beauty. And the way that he keeps those guys so safe when he does that is phenomenal to me.
yeah, it's something else. Um, but the match itself was just this match was a barn burner, and
Are you
that's
talking
the best way I can
Sami
put
Zayn
this.
versus CM Punk?
No, no, no. I'm referring to. I'm going back to the ladder match
Oh,
for a second.
my bad.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, this match was a barn burner. This match was and now on an entertainment level, I'm giving this match a 10. The match gets a 10.
It,
The match gets a 10 for me. And it was great. I loved it.
I enjoyed it too.
What did you think?
I thought it was well. I thought it was well put together. I thought the big spots in the match, like the big time spots in the match were done correctly. And it definitely had everybody on the edge of their seat just because of the sure, like, just it was brutal. It was brutal. You know, I ain't seen a ladder match like that in a minute. And then on top of that, we got blood too. You know how long it's been since we've seen blood in WWE that wasn't an accident. I mean, I can
Right.
tell that he gigged, which that's fine. I mean, but still, like, in a match like that needed the blood. It needed to, and the blood just enhanced it and made people, oh shit, they're beating the shit out of each other, and that's exactly.
Yeah, I mean this match was, as I said before, and I'll say it again. This match was just absolutely all over the place, and Kevin Owens was busted open. I mean, it was just they were just destroying one another. Like I said, but the match gets a 10. The match gets a 10 for me, and it was a thumbs up for me in the booking department. And one thing I do want to point out, I want to give up props. I want to give props to WWE production. I don't know who came up with this idea, but whoever came up with this idea for the Rumble was absolutely great. Down the bottom of the screen, if you
Yeah,
all didn't see the Royal Rumble, down the bottom of the screen, this is the first time ever they've ever done this. They showed you, first of all, they showed you the career of the wrestler. That was one thing that they did that was brilliant. Then they showed you who was active in the Royal Rumble and who was coming up next. I thought that was good. And they showed you who was eliminated. I thought that was
and
fantastic. I don't know.
they also showed you how long each competitor was in there too.
Right, right, exactly. This was just absolutely brilliant. I don't know whose idea this was, but it was kudos to them. This was
I can.
absolutely great. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I interrupted you. I apologize. I can say this, man. This is the first, like I said, this last couple of weeks is the first time I've watched WWE since Triple H and TKO. Is that who owns it now? TKO.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Hmm.
first time I've watched WWE since they took over, and I gotta say, I enjoy it. I really am. Because just Vince was running it for so long and was so set in his ways that we would never, like, never in a million years would somebody like Jay Uso win the Royal Rumble if Vince was still in charge. Never in a million
Right.
years we have the type of storylines going on that we do now if Vince was in charge. And I think that this is best, and this is what we needed, and this is what we've been needing for the past decade. If he would have just got out of his ways and let Triple H talk to him and let Triple H help him book, the viewership may not have declined as bad as it did. I mean, a lot of people sit here and say, "Oh, Triple H is this, Triple H is that. He's doing a bad job." Quit complaining and just watch the show. You're gonna watch it anyway. Just quit complaining. The same people who
Yeah.
complain about pro wrestling are the same dudes that can complain if a punani was too wet. They complain about that too. You know what I'm saying? Just
No, no comment on that. No comment. Anyway,
just
anyway.
watch the show. Be a fan. Just enjoy what you're getting. Be a fan. Be that kid on Christmas morning every once in a while, and just open the gifts that you're getting and quit trying to sneak at them, man. Just enjoy the show. And
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette preaches that all the time. And I just have to say, shout out to Jim Cornette. I'm full hardly for it, man.
Yeah, so that was the ladder match. That was the ladder match, everyone. That was the ladder match. All right. Let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble.
Let's talk about that.
The the men's Royal Rumble. Wait, okay, so here are the participants in the men's Royal Rumble. We had Rey Mysterio. We had Penta. We had Chad Gable, Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Otis, Braun Breaker, Akira Tozawa. Except one thing, Akira Tozawa was attacked, and he was replaced by a YouTuber, I Show Speed. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Sheamus, Jimmy Uso, Andrade, Jacob Fatu, Ludwig Kaiser, he didn't last long in the Royal Rumble. The Miz, Joe Hendry, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. As I said, Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, Dominic Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. So those were the men that were in the Royal Rumble. Those were the men that were in the Royal Rumble. Now, I know a lot of you have said to me, and they said you said all over the place. There was no surprises in this Royal Rumble. There was no surprises. We already knew who was coming out because the WWE already leaked the men who were in the Royal Rumble. They've done this now for 5 years, and I hate when they leak things because when you leak things, it's like it ruins the mystique of the match. But anyway, that's the WWE, and that's what they like to do. When the smoke was cleared, when the smoke was cleared, we had the last two men in the match. It was John Cena and Jay Uso. Now this was absolutely I predicted that Cena would have won the Royal Rumble, but I was not surprised. I was not anticipating the swerve that was coming. But let's talk. Look, before we get to that, let's talk about the brawl that happened on the floor when the eliminations were taking place. Well, Seth Rollins was eliminated. Roman Reigns was eliminated. And who else was eliminated on the who
Punk.
else was on the huh?
It was Logan Paul eliminated CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk. Okay, so Logan Paul went and eliminated Punk. All right, so now we had a brawl. Where this was absolutely wild. This was Rollins went there and gave Paul Heyman the Italian salute. He told Paul Heyman he was number one. He did indeed do that. He did indeed do that. He told him he was number one. He stomped Roman Reigns' face in the steel steps. Roman Reigns now will be out of action indefinitely. When was I going to see Roman again? I have no idea. But this was just absolutely wild, this brawl. So, what I was reading by the PW Insider, and what I was hearing, and what the scuttlebutt is, they're thinking about a triple threat match here. It would be Punk, Rollins, and Roman at WrestleMania. Why? Well, you killed two birds with one stone. You killed two feuds with one stone. I mean, there's no significant reason why the triple threat here. But if that's the road you want to do and that's what you want to book, okay, I guess it's okay. I'm guessing it's okay
It'd be a solid match.
on paper.
Sounds like a solid match on paper.
Like I said, if you want to do it like that, I don't have any issues with it. Because let me tell you something, Rollins don't like Punk, Punk don't like Rollins, and Rollins hates Roman. So all the feelings are mutual in this match. I
Yep.
can't stand you. You can't stand me. I hate him. I can't deal with him. Yeah. So it's that. All right. So let's get back to the main course here. So Jay Uso was in the ring with John Cena, and the two of them, at one point, this match, this ending could have went either way. It could have swinged either way. Cena could have won it. He looked like he was going to do it. But what we got out of it, when it was the most shocking thing, Jay Uso took his foot and pushed Cena in the back, and Cena landed on the floor. Both feet touched the floor. The bell rung, and that was the end of the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso's hand was raised in victory. Now I understand. Now at that time, I didn't understand why WWE did this. But here's the thing that I understood, and this is what I understood. Okay, If you all remember, go back to Raw and when Jey Uso won the Intercontinental Championship. A lot of you thought that that moment was well deserved on Jey, and it was. It was. Unfortunately, he lost it against Braun Breaker, and everybody was upset about that. Why did you build up this kind of a moment and then take the rug out from under him and gave the Intercontinental title back to Braun Breaker? I was on that bandwagon. I was thinking about that, and I was like, yes, you ruined his moment. You ruined his time in the spotlight. But there was something bigger cooking in that cook pot. There was something bigger cooking in the cook pot. Let's go forth, fast forward to Saturday night's main event. He goes against Gunther. Now, this was the first time he ever went against Gunther. What happened? Well, he gave Gunther a ride. He pushed him to the limit, but in the end, Gunther retained the championship, and everybody was like, "Well, why did you build up the ah?" There was something else cooking in the cook pot. So now we go to the Royal Rumble, and now after he went through all of that, he went through all of that to get to this point, and everybody's like, he's a tag team guy. He could never win the Royal Rumble. He doesn't deserve it. No, 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 no. Triple H says, yes, he does. And what did he do? He made Jay win the Royal Rumble. It all makes sense now. It didn't make sense to me at that point because I didn't know, I couldn't connect the dots. But when I connected the dots and then I sat back and thought about it, I was like, okay, now I see. They couldn't give him the Royal Rumble because if he was still Intercontinental Championship, what sense would that make? What sense would that make? That wouldn't make any sense. He's already a champion. You don't need to make him win the Royal Rumble. Give it to Cena then. But that's not what they were cooking. That's not what they were cooking. They wanted to make sure he won that Royal Rumble. And now he's going against Gunther. He's going to pick Gunther, and they will meet at the WrestleMania. And
Yeah.
this, this time, we're going to yeet all over the place because he's going to win that title. And you cannot tell me he's not. Because if you build him up all the way up to this point and you gave him that spotlight and he's over with the fans. If you don't put that title on him at WrestleMania, the fans are going to burn WWE down to the ground.
The amount of the amount of money on the table as far as just merchandising alone with him winning that title is astronomical. It
Yeah,
at the end, it's all about making money. If those kids are throwing their hands up and yeeting because he's doing it, that's where you need to start putting your eggs in that basket. You
that's
know,
right.
yeah, that I'm just saying, I mean, I think he's selling. I think isn't he the top selling merch guy right now?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, yes, he is because Mike, I'm telling you, I have been to live events where he's been in, and I'm going to tell you something. That crowd pops so loud for him when he comes through that curtain or comes through the audience. I'm telling you can't talk. You can't hear yourself think. The place is shaking from the rafters all the way up to the nosebleed. I mean, they just go bananas when he comes out. And can you imagine, folks, can you imagine 70 plus thousand people in that stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, screaming from the top of their lungs for Jey if he wins that title? Can you imagine the
It'd be it,
pageantry in that?
it'd be about as big as moment as it'd be about the same type of moment as whenever Daniel Bryan won the heavyweight championship.
That's right. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. This was absolutely fantastic. So Cena hugged Jey Uso, congratulated him on winning and everything else. So I again congratulated Jey Uso. I didn't have a problem with it. And when he came out on Monday night, the crowd really serenaded him. They really did. They chanted, "You deserve it." They wouldn't make him talk. It was absolutely great. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen on Monday Night Raw for Jey Uso. All right. All right. We're up to the last match, and this was the Women's Royal Rumble. And I'm going to tell you this much: the Women's Royal Rumble, for the first time in 5 years, had a vast improvement. This was a vast improvement from what we've seen in the past with the Women's Royal Rumble. Because in the Women's Royal Rumble, it was very lackluster. Very lackluster. It was going through the motions when it came to the Women's Royal Rumble. But this year, for some reason, they really spiced it up a little bit and they made it relevant. And I like that. But before we do that, let's just go back a little bit before we discuss the Women's Royal Rumble. Okay, so the ladder match, we both gave it a 10. Okay. Now, the men's Royal Rumble, what number would you give that, Mike?
I'd say like an 8.5 to a 9, because like the whole time I was thoroughly, entertained by it. There was like I enjoyed I enjoyed the Joe Henry thing. I think that dude's got all the potential in the world, and eventually he's going to be a big star. He's got so much charisma that it's just it's unfunny. It's not funny. He's got so much charisma. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
and I'm pretty cool. Like I'm not like best friends with Jacob Fatu, but I'm pretty cool with him. I mean, I've worked shows with him and stuff in the past before he got signed, and I enjoyed what he did in the Rumble. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with sooner or later. He's going to be a top guy. He he is phenomenal at everything he does in that ring, man. And not only that, he's a solid human being. Like, he is super chill and super cool to be around. I mean,
Yeah.
he goes out of his way to say hi to all the fans. Like, I've been to like 3 or 4 shows with him. I worked a show with him in Kansas. I worked a show, a one in Dallas with him, and like,
Wow.
he goes out of his way to shake hands with every fan that comes there that wants to see him, and he's just super cool and takes pictures with everybody, and he's just a kind soul. And it's just I'm so happy that he was able to finally get signed and be able to show 70,000 plus people that he's the one of the baddest MFers in that family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna give the men's Royal Rumble a solid 8. I'm gonna give the show a star. I'm gonna give the match a solid 8. I liked it. I thought it was great. Again, it was good showing by all the men in the match, and Jey Uso winning it was the icing on the cake. I enjoyed it. It was great. Um.
I mean,
Okay.
so before we start talking about the women's Royal Rumble, I would like to bring up the men's Royal Rumble one more time and talk about
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Sure.
did you listen or watch the press conference that John Cena gave after the men's Royal Rumble match, where he said he was going to go on to Elimination Chamber and win the title because
Yeah.
he's
Right. Right.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know where they're going with this. I have no idea where they're going with this. But what I foresee happening, and okay, not what I foresee happening, but this is the way I would book this. I would book John Cena to lose the Elimination Chamber, be the last one in there, and get pinned by, isn't it Cody Rhodes that's defending the title in the Elimination Chamber?
No. What it is that okay? In the
Or they do?
men's elimination chamber, after Jay picks Gunther. Okay, after Jay picks Gunther to be his opponent at WrestleMania, we need an opponent for Cody Rhodes. So the winner of the men's elimination chamber, the winner of the men's elimination chamber will be the number one contender, and they will take on Cody at WrestleMania.
Oh, so they don't make the champion defend the title in the elimination chamber anymore?
No,
Oh, see, that
no.
shows you how long it's been since I've watched it. So, okay, well, let's either way, I would still book it the same, bro. So, did you see the passion and like the amount like that John Cena like really wants this, right? You saw that in his voice and in his mannerisms. You could see it. Let
Right.
let's say we book him to lose the elimination chamber match, right? So he loses the
Hmm.
elimination chamber match, so he doesn't go on to WrestleMania to become 17-time heavyweight champion. But here's the but. It does something to him and it pisses him off so much that we get a heel turn. And not only do we get a heel turn, we get John Cena winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing it in to become 17th time champion at Survivor Series, possibly. That's the way I would book it because
That's
we've
interesting.
all been wanting a John Cena heel turn for 15 years now. We've never gotten it. And I honestly think since this is going to be his last year in the WWE, he needs to go out with a bang and we need to get that heel turn. And if people would not be expecting it, people would not be expecting it because they're like, oh, well, this is his last year. He's just going to do his same old shtick. But could you imagine a heel John Cena winning the Money in the Bank and then going on to Survivor Series possibly to become the heavyweight champion for a
I
second?
mean, I don't have an issue with it. I don't have it. Except, like I said, because of Cena's, because of Make a Wish and all this stuff that Cena's attached to, and the kids love Cena. They won't make that. I don't think the WWE would ever pull that trigger and make him a heel. That's been the sticky wicket for a long time now. Everybody wants Cena to become heel, but
But
because he's go
the
ahead,
thing
Mike. I'm sorry.
about it is like, let's okay. I hate this man that I'm about to bring up. I just want to let you know that I cannot stand this individual and I think he is a skid mark on the business of professional wrestling and he has no business being anywhere near it anymore because he's such a piece of crap of a human being. Hulk Hogan, that's what I'm talking about. Fuck Hulk Hogan. I hate him. All I'm going to say is this. No one ever in their right mind thought that he was going to turn heel when he did. And it was the biggest thing in the industry at that time. People were shocked. People were mad. People were emotional. Like it brought emotion out of even the slightest bit of like a casual fan. I can't believe Hulk Hogan did that. You would get the same, probably if not more of a reaction if John Cena did that too. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just storytelling at its finest and it's psychology at its finest. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
had to go ahead and disclose my disdain for Hulk Hogan because f him.
All right. Well, based upon all of that, let's go to the women's Royal Rumble for a second. All right, the order of entry. All right, here we go. We had Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Layla Valkyria, Chelsea Green, B Fab, Ivy Nile, Zoe Stark, Lash Legend, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Bailey, Sonya Deville, Maxie Dupree, Naomi, Jada Parker, Piper Niven, Natalia, Jordan Great, Meechin, Alexa Bliss, Zelina Vega, Candice LeRae, Stephanie Vakir, Trish Stratus, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, Julia, and Nikki Bella, and Nia Jax. Okay, so all of these ladies went around. Now, the return of Nikki Bella was absolutely, I was not expecting that at all. I was not expecting that at all. Oh, by the way, everyone, thank you for watching the wrestling experience. And please make sure that you hit that like button. And of course, you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. So I wasn't expecting Nikki Bella to come back to the WWE. I thought she was done with the WWE, but no, she comes back. She was in the Royal Rumble. I thought she had a good showing. She had a good time in the match. I thought that was all right. Um, Julia from NXT going into the Royal Rumble. I had no issues with her coming in there. Jordan Grace. Again, another one that signed with WWE. I had no issues with it. None of these women that came in the match, I had no. But what we got out of it, what we got out of it was the return of Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, who's been out of action for months and a couple of years unchanged, came back to the Royal Rumble and they rewarded her with the Royal Rumble win. Mike, what did you think of the women's Royal Rumble?
I enjoyed it. There was a few spots in there that were just like I really popped. I thought that Death Valley driver that Jordan Grace gave to Piper was beautiful. I popped for that. Uh, and as far as like Charlotte winning, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's pissed off about that, but everybody's going to be pissed off about something. You know, you can't please everybody. I mean,
Right.
if she wins, this would be her 15th heavyweight championship if she wins. Am I off?
No, I think you are. I think you are correct. I think this is would be her 15th. Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
closing into her dad real quick, and I think that's where they're going with that. I mean, but we all know that the real number for Ric Flair is actually like 24. Let's just be honest with each other. It's 24. Is it 24 or 23?
I think it's either 23 or 20. I'm not sure. I believe it's 23. I think.
It's between 20. It's between 22 and 24 for sure. I want to
You're
say
right.
4, but I don't know why they don't count those other ones. But that's the real number.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have it. I predicted it on my show. I predicted on the Wrestling Experience that Charlotte would have won the Royal Rumble. Robert, how are you? Robert says it's 24. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Roberto. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for your 24. I greatly appreciate it. And make sure that you hit that like button, everyone. Make sure you smash that like button. You greatly appreciate it. Um, yeah, so Charlotte Flair winning the match. On an entertainment level, I gave the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm going to give this Royal Rumble a 7. I'm going to give it a solid 7. It was good for what it was. I like seeing all the surprises. You know, what's popping, Maui? Oh, Robert says hello to you, Maui. Thank you very much for that comment.
Up, Robert. How you doing, brother? Just enjoying life, man. I give that the women's Royal Rumble about a 6.5 as well. I'm on the same page as you because it could have been booked better than what it was. We could have had more surprises. Like we could have had AJ return, which would probably have blown the roof off the place. But I don't know. Maybe she's just not ready yet or something. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. But all I can say is that for what it was good. I mean, we got some really good stuff going on in there. We got that Death Valley driver from, like I said, I popped for that. I thought that was great.
Exactly. Um, yeah. So I gave the Women's Royal Rumble a solid 7, and it was good for what it was. All right. So that was the Royal Rumble 2024. I came in late. Was you all talking about Ric Flair retirement or his title run? No, Robert, we were talking about Ric Flair's title run. That's what we were talking about. And we were trying to get to the number that we weren't quite sure whether it was 24 or 20. But you did say it was 24. So thank you for that. We greatly appreciate it.
Because we were
Oh,
discussing how Charlotte is about to possibly perhaps capture her 15th World Heavyweight Championship, and how she's
right,
in on her dad's record. And then I said, well, his real record is close to like 23 or 24, and I couldn't remember the exact number, but I knew it was close to
right.
that.
Okay, so that was the Royal Rumble 2025. It was a good event. It was a good time by all. It was the highest gate in WWE history. It brought in 70,345. It was the largest crowd in history. And by the way, just to give you all an FYI, this event outsold Taylor Swift. when she came to the same building. So that says a lot for Indiana and the fans.
Maybe
Um,
not many Swifties in Indiana, bro. Maybe that's the problem. 'Cause
maybe.
they, they, they
That's
take it off. You know what I'm saying?
not exactly. We're having fun tonight, everyone. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you will.
always, always have fun.
Yes, man. So now we're going to get to some wrestling news. All right, here we go. Courtesy of NewYorkTimes.com. I can't, I ain't a Swifty myself. No, no, dude.
Who?
Okay,
Robert?
Robert says, I ain't a Swifty. Yeah, well,
Robert, I
yeah.
think you're lying, bro. I think you stand in front of your mirror with your hairbrush and you just be singing those songs loud and proud, brother.
That's that. I don't know. Maybe,
I'm just kidding.
maybe.
Robert. I'm just kidding. I
I'm
hope
just kidding, Robert. We're just kidding. We're just messing around, Robert. Um,
I ain't gonna lie to
so,
you. Sometimes when I'm in the shower, I'll be singing Madonna. There ain't nothing wrong with it, brother.
exactly. So this is courtesy of the New York Times. WWE superstar and former UFC champion Brock Lesnar was officially identified in an amendment federal lawsuit filed by former WWE employee Janelle Grant, who originally filed the lawsuit in January of 24, accusing WWE co-founder Vince McMahon of unwanted sexual and sex trafficking. She also alleged that the executive John Laurinaitis of sex trafficking, physical and emotional abuse, and sexual assault and negligence. Now, if you all didn't hear about this McMahon scandal. I'm just going to give you a synopsis of it because I don't want to spend the whole time on this. But this is what happened. This Janelle Grant came on the scene because she had text messages and she had screenshots of what Mr. McMahon did to her and said to her behind the scenes at WWE. Now, I have read all of the evidence, all of the screenshots and everything. I've done it all on the show. I've been in the trenches with this story and everything else. I've gone through different guests and everything. So I'm just going to continue reading the article. According to Grant, McMahon directed her to create personal pornographic content for Lesnar and WWE Hall of Fame and longtime producer Michael Hayes. So Michael P.S. Hayes was also involved in this scandal, and he still works for the company. He still works behind the scenes, and you can see him sitting at Gorilla with his headset on. Um, the amendment lawsuit also includes screenshots of texts appearing from McMahon and requesting specific pornographic content from Grant. According to the filing, McMahon told Grant and that Lesnar would be her next playmate. Her next playmate. Okay. Mrs. Grant amended complaint revealed new details, further demonstrating the sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of McMahon and John Laurinaitis, and pulls back the curtain on dangerous work culture Mr. McMahon created, said Ann Callis, Grant's attorney. In a statement Saturday, Miss Grant looks forward to holding her abusers accountable in the court of law. McMahon's attorney, Jessica Rosenberg, denies the claim. Then she says, as expected, the proposed amendment complains that it's nothing more than the latest publicity stunt. Rosenberg said in a statement at The Athletic Online, Laurinaitis and WWE did not respond for the comments. it was not immediately clear if the allegation, if this is a legal if this was a legal representation. Okay, so all right, so now I read the whole thing. Now I read the whole thing, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you are an owner of the WWE like Vince McMahon was, okay, you're supposed to hold yourself in some sort of respect and professionalism. There is no respect here. Vince McMahon is a nasty pig. This man is a pig. And there's just no other words to go around. The man is a monster.
Nice.
There's just
That,
no
you're
this.
being nice using those words, man.
I'm sorry, but the man is just a fart bag. He's a nasty fart bag, and it's just gross. He's just gross in everything that he did to women. And here's the kicker. Randy Orton Randy Orton was on a recent podcast, and this is what Randy Orton said. Okay. Randy Orton says about Mr. McMahon and working for Triple H. He said working for Triple H is totally different from working with Mr. McMahon. If you feel that you are tired or you're injured or you can't do it, you Triple H will send you home and be with your family for you to heal up so that you can come back the next week or whenever you need the week off or the month or whatever it is for you to heal. Mr. McMahon told Randy Orton, now this is what happened. Randy Orton had back surgery, as everybody knows. Okay. Before he had back surgery, he had to do it, Mr. McMahon. Well, he goes backstage and he tells Mr. McMahon, I need a break. I need a break because my back is killing me. Okay. Do you know what Mr. McMahon told Randy Orton? It's Mother Nature. Suck it up. What kind of a thing is that to tell somebody? Mother Nature. Mother Nature. Are you serious? Mother Nature has nothing to do with your back. Mother Nature is weather. That has to do with weather. So what are you talking about? Oh, because it's cold outside, his back is bothering him. Is that what you're trying? I mean, what am I hearing here? This guy is disgusting.
You're
Is that
here.
how you treat your talent?
All that is just an out of touch billionaire who has so much money that he gives a shit about anybody but himself. That's all that is.
Oh,
You
thank
know,
God.
and I used to be the biggest fan of Vince McMahon. I thought it was, but just all this stuff coming out about how he is like in his personal life and stuff is just I can't get behind that, man.
No,
I
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike. I'm sorry, but this, this is just I've had mm-mm. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what words to use for this man. But this man was just so out of touch. If you are an owner of a company and your wrestler is hurt and he's telling you he's hurt and he can't do it anymore, you're gonna tell him about Mother Nature? Um, okay. All right. All right. All right. Um,
but as far as
so
like being named in that lawsuit, man, that breaks my heart. It really does because I mean I used to be a huge fan of Brock Lesnar, but when it comes to using females for sexual gratification during contract negotiations, that's kind of a big deal, bro. That's something you shouldn't be doing. And
no, you shouldn't.
not only that, like making that poor woman send stuff to other people and other executives in the company was wrong. Like, I don't give a shit if they did have an NDA, non disclosure agreement, and he was paying her. I really don't give a shit. The reason that he was paying her is because he knew what he was doing was disgusting, wrong, vile, and unethical, that he had to pay her to make her not say anything. And if his cheap ass would have just continued paying her, he'd probably still be in the seat in Gorilla right now. But unfortunately, he's not. Did you know, like, to just like, it's crazy to me to think that this man paid more to cover up his sexual scandals than he did to buy WCW. That shit that is wild to me. That it is
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. This scandal. I mean, I have gone through the trenches with this scandal, and I'm going to tell you this much. You know something? TKO and WWE and even Triple H, they need to fire. They need to fire that other one there that's sitting in Gorilla. I mean,
Michael
Hey,
Hayes.
yeah, they need to fire him because if this is true, if this is true, and he was complicit, listen to me carefully. If he was complicit in what he did here, and he knew about it, and he covered it up, well, you have no alternative but to let him go and let him go. Vince needs to go to prison. Yes, Robert, I agree.
He does, but we all know that's not going to happen because not only is he a billionaire, his best friend is now running our country. So we all know that that's not going to happen. If he does get in trouble, he'll just get pardoned like homeboy pardoned everybody else. I'm not getting political. I'm not telling y'all my stance on everything. All I'm saying is, like, that's just the fact of the information. That's just fact. He's not going to get in trouble because of who his friends are.
Right. I'm going to tell you this much. I am thoroughly disgusted with this scandal. I'm thoroughly disgusted. I'm violently ill. I don't know if you all saw the documentary of Vince, but he is gross. He is gross. The
Oh,
man is gross.
okay. Do we have like a PG audience here? Should I like try to like tone down what I'm about to say right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Just keep it. Just try to
Okay,
keep it clean.
okay. Look, I read those same text messages you did, or I read all of it, and there was one part that like it was disgusting, but it was kind of humorous too. Like, not like, I'm not like saying that it was funny for the victims or anything, but just the way that they described what he would do was just, it was funny. They said that he would get random toys, like toys for extracurricular activities with adults, and they'd be different colors. And depending on what the color of the toy was, he'd name it after a famous wrestler. So is this dude like pulling out big purple ones, talking about, oh, this is the Undertaker? Like, you
Right.
know,
Just, I mean, this was just, this was just, and then another thing too is, another thing, this man used to have, they used to have bikini parties in his backyard. I mean, this man was gross. And your wife was there. How disrespectful are you to your marriage? How disrespectful are you to your marriage that you would do that?
let's not forget the time that he pitched the storyline to Stephanie, saying that he wanted to be the father of her child because she was pregnant on TV. Let's not forget that.
Oh my God. Well, Mike says that you speak well, Robert. Robert said that you spoke well, Mom. Yeah, I agree. I
Thank you.
agree. He's telling me he's speaking that, yeah, he's speaking facts. But I'm going to tell you this much, and we're going to move on to the next story. Um, I, this 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 is just this is just very vile and very just, it makes me ill. It just makes me ill because, you know, I'm going to tell you this much for everyone. I work in a workplace with women. My mother is a woman. I have two sisters. I have a best friend who's a woman. If some man did what Mr. McMahon did, or even talked like, they would have been in deep doo doo. they would have been in deep trouble with me because I don't put up with this. I mean, this is just this is vile. This is vile.
I've got
This
I've
is
I've got an 8-year-old daughter, bro. I'm right there with you. Like,
this is vile. This is absolutely vile. And I'm disgusted at this. And Michael Hayes, if this is true about Michael Hayes, he needs to be fired. Triple H don't need to protect him. You need to let him go. You need to let him go and let him go in immediately if this is true. Because you cannot sit there and want to employ somebody who was involved in this crap.
dude,
I
I
mean, it's just
you're a great company, dude. Like that's the part that gets me the most is that he wasn't even using his own money to pay these victims. He was using stockholder money and WWE money that was not his.
yes,
Like
yes,
that is a federal crime to steal money from stocks. Like, isn't that a federal crime? How come he's not in prison? All the evidence is there.
exactly.
All the evidence is there. It's time for him to get locked up, man, for sure.
Ugh. Oh my God, we're gonna keep following this story. We're gonna keep following this story. Yes, we will. All right, let's move on from that crap, that stench, to the next story I have for you. Charlotte Flair has filed for divorce from Andrade in June of 24, which was signed off by a judge in October. Charlotte Flair is ditching her tag team partner for life. TMZ Sports has learned she divorced Andrade. The court records was obtained that shows Ric Flair's daughter filed for separation from the wrestler hubby. Real name was Emmanuel Alfonso Andrade. In Florida back in 2024, a judge appeared to sign off on the divorce. It's not clear if the reason for the split in the court documents. So Charlotte Flair is officially divorced from Andrade. She's officially done with Andrade. She's a free woman, and she's a free agent.
I didn't even know they were married, bro. I just knew they were together. I didn't know they were married. That was news to me.
Yep, yes they were. Yes they were. All right. Um. Okay, here comes some more wrestling news. If it wasn't clear at the Royal Rumble, the PW Insider says that now they're saying that the current plan for WrestleMania is indeed Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in a triple threat match. We did talk about that
Yep.
earlier in the show. We did talk about that, and I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it whatsoever, one iota. I don't.
Do
Uh,
you honestly feel like the main event of WrestleMania is going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes? Do you feel like that's going to be the main?
um, I it's a possibility in the elimination chamber. We're gonna have to see what happens in the elimination chamber if he wins the chamber. If Cena wins the chamber in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on March the 1st, we're gonna have to see. But I would think that because he didn't win the Rumble, that they would owe him a receipt and they would give him the chamber. That would be my thought in my head. If that's the road that they want to travel on. Um, all right. On the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer says that The Rock was livid that the news of his not wrestling WrestleMania 41 got out when it did. What's more, there was someone who was upset that made his return in back after the show, despite knowing he wouldn't be working WrestleMania. So The Rock was upset with somebody within the WWE or one of the dirt sheet writers who spilled the tea that he was not working WrestleMania 41 and he couldn't because of his obligations. Um, that's the problem when you are a figure in the wrestling world. Your stuff does get leaked. and it does get leaked by a dirt sheet. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it happens. Um, I don't know. What do you think about that, Mike?
I don't. What's he upset about? He's a millionaire. What's there to be upset about? Either way, you're making money. Either way, like why are you upset? Doesn't matter. you know.
Right. Well, he said. I mean, because he said he was livid. He was livid because somebody leaked out that he's not wrestling at 41 at WrestleMania 41. I mean,
I
what's the
mean,
big deal?
there
I
was
don't
lot,
understand.
there was a lot of fans that were livid when he was over there begging us, who barely have money to get by, to send people from Maui money whenever he has millions of dollars and he could have helped. He didn't. You remember?
Right. Agree.
Like and if I had extra money, of course I would donate. I just don't, man. It's tough. Times are tough, for
No,
everybody.
listen. You don't have to explain anything to me, man. We all live that paycheck to paycheck every day. We
Yeah.
all do it.
And it was just
Yeah.
crazy how two billionaires come on TV. Oprah, wasn't it Oprah?
Yeah.
It's Oprah and The Rock coming on talking about y'all need to give y'all's money to help this cause. What about you, Mister $80 for a bottle of tequila,
Right. Right.
Mister Clothing Line, Mister Movie Star, Mister Executive Power of Attorney, or whatever you are now? Come on, bro. You could have helped out.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about this. I mean, like I said before, you're a public figure, and you got to understand that's the business. That's what happens when you're in the wrestling business. All right. The PW Insider says that John Cena is ready. He's already back in Budapest to film a movie, just like he said he was going to do, and he expected he won't be back on WWE TV until the Elimination Chamber. So Cena right now is in Budapest, and he is filming a movie currently, and he won't be back until the Elimination Chamber. I don't have a problem with it.
No, because he's setting his life up for after wrestling. That's all that is. Because
Right.
you, well, no, your body can't do this forever. You're gonna have to find something
Exactly.
out of it.
Right. And here's the last story of the night. Here's the last story of the night, and it's all about McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was upset after he was eliminated in the Royal Rumble match. He was furious, and sources claim he stormed out of the building and before the Rumble match even ended. Okay, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna say this right now. This is the third or fourth time that I have heard from dirt sheets that Drew McIntyre is upset at the WWE the way he was booked and the match, and he was upset and he slammed the door and he was out. Now McIntyre made a viral video and he said none of that was true. None of it. He's not upset. He's not anything. And from what I understand, he will be moved over to SmackDown. So I don't have listen, I don't, these dirt sheets, I don't know where they come up with these things from, where they see these things, what they do, but I don't think none of them go backstage. I don't
Brother
think none of them go backstage.
Earl, you know exactly as I do. What they do is they squat over, they pop a squat, they hold their hand under their booty hole, and they catch a handful of crap, and they throw it at the wall and sees what sticks. That's what they do. Because at the end of the day, even if Drew did do that, 9 times out of 10, Drew is working you. Drew is a professional. He's not gonna just do that. You like my analogy? They just took a crap
Anywho,
at the wall and saw what stuck.
Molly, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. So I'm going to be here all night. Jerry will. um, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the wrestling experience. I want to thank Molly Mike for coming on tonight. We had a lot of fun with him on this telecast. Oh, Mike, I want to thank you again. Now, Mike, let me ask you something. Where can anybody find you on social media?
Yes, sir. So on Facebook, it's just under Maui Mike. You can find me there. I post on there every day. I post on TikTok. It's at Maui Mike OG, and most of my handles are at Maui Mike OG. So you can find me on there. And before you get off, man, before we end this broadcast, I heard your last guest that you had on here a few weeks ago was talking some mess.
Yes, he was.
I
Yes,
heard.
he was. Yes, he was. Vincent was here. He was here with me last time, and he told me to tell you. I'm glad that you brought that up because he did tell me to give you a message. He sent an open challenge to you.
An open challenge to me.
Yes, this is what he said. You
Did
now you're gonna have to contact him about that. But he said about an open challenge. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what
well,
that means, but I'm just a messenger. So
well, well, all I gotta say is this, brother. Like you saw him and you see me. He's built like a tampon. First off, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna pull some strings and try to get a victory? Is that what he's gonna try to do?
oh my god.
Like, look, I just go ahead and snip it, brother. Anytime, any place, anywhere, Mister Vincent. If you want to catch it, you can catch. We can catch the fade anywhere.
Oh my god.
So then your
Holy
career might
cow.
be significantly shortened because no matter how many strings you pull, Mister Tampon Man, you ain't gonna win, brother. You better come with a backup pad because that match is gonna be some heavy flow on you.
Oh. what the
I told you, bro. Funny, bro. That was funny.
Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy cow.
Top of the night.
Wow. Huh. Holy cow, folks. I've heard it all. I've heard it all now. Uh,
Oh.
Holy cow, I've heard it all. Oh man, that was funny. Um
Anyway, everyone, that is gonna do it for the wrestling experience. I want to thank Maui Mike for coming on tonight and being such a great sport and everything else. And thank you, Maui, for being here. I greatly appreciate it. I needed the laugh. Oh man, this is funny.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
And maybe we can sit down and do this again sometime. I'm definitely open to it. I had a good time talking with you this evening.
yeah, I had a good time too. Yes. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe. And of course, thank you all so much for watching the Wrestling Experience. Now, I'm going to be back on the air tomorrow night, just 24 hours from now, when I present to you Friday Night SmackDown. I'm going to give you Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night here on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you tune in for that. And of course, I'm going to give you all the matches and what is going on in Memphis, Tennessee tomorrow night for SmackDown. Until then, everyone, thank you for watching Wrestling Experience. And of course, oh, by the way, Mike, before I go, make sure that you send me all your social media links so I can put it in the description of
Sure,
this
for sure.
video, so we can so people can follow you accordingly. Um, thank you all so much for watching the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and I will be back, like I said, tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. Until then, have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I'll see you tomorrow night.
Follow Maui Michael